federal sentencing, federal plea bargaining, and how to instruct or advise a client on whether to testify or not are, to a strong degree, driven by the application of the United States sentencing guidelines. Since 2005, when the United States Supreme Court said that the guidelines were no longer mandatory but merely advisory, I've seen lawyers get involved in federal defense who don't really know what they're doing, with the excuse that, hey, look, the advisory guidelines are now advisory. They're not mandatory. And so they don't appreciate how the federal sentencing guidelines are still probably the most unique driving force behind federal practice when it comes to making intelligent decisions on plea bargaining, jury trial, sentencing, and appeal. The guidelines are still applied and calculated by the government, the defense, the probation department, and the United States District Court judge. And the sentencing rules, the sentencing statute that mandates how a judge is to conduct sentencing, requires that judge to still calculate the advisory guidelines. Guidelines are calculated not necessarily based on what a jury finds after trial, but on a set of facts that we call relevant conduct. One of the problems that lawyers face who don't know federal practice is that in order to enter a plea, or whether or not to testify at trial, is driven by what facts a defendant will testify to or admit in a change of plea. That set of facts, to a large degree, will drive how these guidelines are applied. And even in a situation where a judge says, I don't believe the guidelines accurately state what a reasonable sentence is, they present a case that's greater than necessary as far as sentencing goes, to use the language, the degree of variance, the degree of leniency that a judge may grant a defendant in a federal case is still tied to those sentencing guidelines, and therefore it is still one of the most unique and important areas of practice that a lawyer has to understand intimately before they can provide defense, and that's what we do.